The road less traveled paves the path to success. This is the inspirational journey of a man hailing from Mumbai, India, who landed in the US in 1965. His path led him to prestigious schools from Stanford to Johns Hopkins University. He came out carrying a vision of financial independence. A man who refused to be a cog in someone else's wheel and was on a mission to start his own venture. He took risks, made some bold moves, and became the first pioneering Indian to open hotels in Dallas in 1976. He didn't stop there. He recognized a need to help fellow immigrant Indians without credit or capital and was passionate to start a bank. Against all odds, he opened State Bank of Texas in 1987. We're talking about none other than Chairman and CEO of State Bank of Texas, Mr. Chan Patel. Toppickmedia had the privilege of hearing his grit to greatness journey, one filled with sacrifice, perseverance, and triumph. Hi everyone, I'm Karuna with Media. We're here covering our very first segment of local successful seniors. We're very privileged here to have Mr. Chan Patel, who is the chairman and CEO of State Bank of Texas. We would like to learn from his journey here in the US since he moved to do his master's at Stanford University. Mr. Chan, thank you again for spending time with us. You have a very accomplished educational background with various degrees under your belt from Mumbai University, Stanford University, and Johns Hopkins University. Please share with us what pivotal role has education played in shaping your career and business here in the US?
Thank you, Karuna. Education is the most important thing in anybody's life. In banking, we have balance sheet we call assets and liabilities. So education is an asset, and the most important thing about this particular asset is it never depreciates. It always increases. So this is something that will always help you in anything you're doing in your life, whether it be socially or professionally or any other way. So I think whatever success I have got is the education had a very, very big role in my life.
You've also been the first Indian hotelier here in Texas. Back in 1976, you were the first Indian to open hotels, and you were successful. You increased it from 1 to 13 restaurants within 6 years. And seeing your success, it inspired other Indians to move down to Dallas to follow suit. But what were some of the challenges that you had to overcome to build that brand, which also opened opportunities for other Indians?
I was the first Indian hotel owner in Dallas, not in Texas. Now, as far as challenges are concerned, actually there was not much challenge. The only difference was that being a professional in my life, with all this education and all that, owning a hotel and running a hotel is a no-brainer, to be honest with you, especially independent hotels. So the biggest change was sacrificing on my personal life. For example, we moved from a house to living inside the hotel. That's a big sacrifice, I think. But you have to do it to get started. So immediately I saw the success, and my fellow Patels saw that I was doing very good progress, so they all moved in to the city, Dallas city, and we ended up owning like 17 or 18 hotels on the same street within a period of 2 years. And then, of course, personally, I did own 13 hotels at a time, but that took me several years. But to answer your question, the biggest challenge was sacrificing personal life.
How did you move to banking? Despite the ups and downs in the banking industry, what inspired you to start a bank and learn the trade and also build a very successful and profitable bank, State Bank of Texas?
This is a question I'm asked all the time. So as I mentioned earlier, when I bought my first hotel uh, in Dallas, within 2 years there were 13 hotels or 14 hotels owned by other Patels on the same street, and we used to bank at the same bank called Trinity National Bank on Fort Worth Avenue, and we all went there for deposits and so forth. So one day I got a call from the president of the bank asking me that, look, another Patel has come for a car loan, and the only way I can give him a car loan is if I co-sign the note, which I agreed to. And then 2 weeks later, a similar call came for another Patel who also wanted to buy a car, and I was asked to co-sign. I said fine. So the next time I went to the bank to co-sign the second note, the president happened to be in the office. So I asked him, his name was Toby Young. I asked him, why are you making me co-sign? Because both of those guys are good guys. So he says, look, I ran their credit report and it was blank. So because the credit report is blank, I cannot give him a loan according to the bank policy. So that struck me, and that was the thing that inspired me to think about starting a bank. I said, look, all these guys, all these Patels don't have credit card because they did not believe in borrowing, and therefore their credit reports are blank. And if I start a bank, then I can help them and help the owners also. So that's how the idea was born. And then of course getting the capital was another issue. So I had a lot of tough time raising the $2 million that we needed to start the bank. So nobody would give me any help, because 86, 87 was what we call RTC days, Resolution Trust Corporation days, when all the banks failed. So they looked at me, they said, look, all the banks are failing, you don't know ABC of banking, and we don't want to give you anything. So finally I came up with an idea that if anybody invested $100,000, which amounted to 5% ownership in the bank, I would put them on the board of directors, even though they don't know ABC of banking, just like I did not, and I would make them professional bankers. So within 2 weeks, I got 10 investors with $100,000, and that's how I raised the capital. And I have kept my promise, because my promise was I will get them on the board of directors, and also I will vote for them to be on the board of directors as long as I live. So to this date, I still have the same board. And that includes persons like Yasmin Gupta, who was my original investor. And then of course, once we started the bank, then it was our time to prove that we are successful. And for all of us, all these investors, investing in a bank was kind of a side business. So because they already had their main business. So I told all my shareholders, there were only 10 of them, and plus me, that look, we have to prove to the community that Patels can not only run hotels, they can also run a bank. So they said, what do you want us to do? So I said, okay, first of all, you all come and work for the bank and no salary. And I will also not take any salary, because we all have other income. So the first question was, all the investors said, look, we don't know ABC of banking. What am I going to do? So I sent them, the wives, to the new account school, tailor school, the boys to the key punch school. Those days we were doing data processing with key punching and all that. So we started the bank with only one paid employee, one white paid employee. Everybody else was no pay. And in 6 months we made the bank profitable. And in last 30 years, we never had any quarter where we declared a loss. And that was a success. In short, investment of $2 million To my shareholders, I have already distributed $250 million in dividends. So that's 125 times what they invested. Plus, the bank is worth about 400 million as of today. So
Incredible story, incredible journey. You saw opportunities and you made some really bold moves, and you also helped the community. So, speaking of community, I know community well-being and give back is very important to you. What is some special story, heartwarming story that you have about making an impact on a client's life?
impact on a client's life is concerned, we have tried our best to help Patels who have come to this country on blood relationship, who did not have any capital, giving them loans for seed money, which are very, very difficult to get. So I'm very proud to say that there are so many Indians who are in hotel business who got their start because of our bank. They were able to buy their first investment because we helped them out, gave them loan when nobody else would touch them. So we are very proud of it. We feel very satisfied that we have done our share, and many of them are multimillionaires now. As far as the impact on the community as a whole is concerned, we try to give back to the community. To that end, I have been very instrumental in establishing a community center which we have in Irving, which cost us $7.5 million, which is all paid for, no debt at all, and I'm very proud to be part of that project.
You've had enormous experience across industries, from airlines to hospitality to the banking sector, and you've been successful in all the fields, whether it was launching your career with Braniff Airways or being the first hotelier here in Dallas to starting a successful bank, State Bank of Texas. What are some words of wisdom that you have for young, ambitious, upcoming entrepreneurs who want to turn their dreams into reality here in the U.S.?
First of all, I encourage financial independence. I encourage everybody to quit their job and go into business for themselves, which is very difficult to do. But you got to have guts to do it. The start is very difficult, but I think perseverance is the key. So I encourage all my family members, and in fact all my children are self-employed, and I encourage that within our community also, and whenever I am asked to advise. So that's number one. Second is education. It plays a very important role, and this is a country where hard work pays off, and in this country, if you put in your work, hard work, I guarantee 99% of the time you will have success. Yes.
So it's really good to see, how your hard work has paid off, and I'm sure it's going to inspire. It has inspired me, and I'm sure it's going to inspire several folks out there. They say success depends on the strength of the relationships, the people you're surrounded with. Who are some key people in your life who've been instrumental in helping you achieve your goals?
First and foremost is obviously my wife. She has supported me all the way. Anytime I was ready to take on new venture, she supported me. So that's number one. Number two is when I started this bank, I had tough time raising money. So I still thank, even though I have rewarded them tremendously, but the day they came to me with their 100,000 investment means a lot to me. So I thank them. I don't want you to think that anytime you start a new project, you will always have a success. So, Karuna has mentioned that I've been successful in hotel business, in airline career, banking career, but I've had failure also. But that's part of life. So don't be discouraged by not having success in your first project or second project. Of course, getting failure in the first project is very hard to absorb. So your first project should be done with very, very conservative thinking. Once you are successful in several projects, then you can take risk.
So, what are some life lessons that you've shared with your children who are also successful? How is it going to help them carry the legacy forward?
Well, the most important thing is ethics. Uh, if you have, if you don't have ethics, you may have a short-term success. If you have ethics, you can count on long-term success. So that's number one. Number two is education. Number three is hard work, perseverance. Don't give up, and someday it will pay you off. Now, being a banker, of course, I am the fiduciary officer, which manages almost $1 billion of other people's deposits. So I'm trusted by FDIC. So obviously they have checked me out, and they think that I'm a very honest person. But even otherwise, in any business, wherever, even if you're not watched by government agencies, honesty should be your number one uh, uh, principle, and also the ethics.
Honesty, perseverance are some of the key messages that has resonated, and education that has resonated throughout your life. Speaking of life, you experienced a life-changing incident at a rather young age. You survived a heart attack. How did that change your life?
It changed my life tremendously. I had my heart attack when I was half my age today. I'm 74. My heart attack was at the age of 37. And that really changed my life. I was under shock for 6 months. So the first lesson I learned after my heart attack was delegation of authority. So until my heart attack, I used to micromanage my hotels. So due to my heart attack, I had to stop micromanaging because of my health. And 6 months of not micromanaging, 6 months after not micromanaging, I discovered that my profit picture remained the same. So I said, look, this is like an experience of a dog walking underneath a bullock cart, thinking that I am the guy who's running the bullock cart. So that's the first lesson I learned. So that I have implemented that in my life, and I'm very happy to say that most of my success, of financial success, I should say, of my life came after my heart attack. Learning really, implementing the principles of management that I learned at Stanford and Johns Hopkins and so forth. So that's one thing I learned. And then secondly, heart attack changed my lifestyle. So I became a kind of a unofficial cardiologist. I studied cardiology for 6 months while I was at home. Started attending ACC conventions, which is American College of Cardiology conventions. And now anytime that somebody has a heart attack in my community, I'm the first guy to see him and tell him that, look, I'm still alive, so you will be alive too after 30 years. And I try to give them my experiences and so forth, and try to help them out.
What advice do you have for maintaining balance in life when you're, going after your career goals at the same time?
The most important advice I can give, even though you may not believe this, for those who haven't got as much money as some of you have, is money is not everything. When you don't have money, you think money is everything. But when you have certain level of money, you will realize that money is not everything, because you cannot take it with you. So the important thing is what people think of you, as a member of society. And of course, the most important thing is to maintain relationship with the society and try to help the members of your family, your society, And I think that if you achieve that goal, having a good reputation within your community and friend circle, I think that gives you more satisfaction than being a rich person. So that's my main advice.
If you could go back to any point in your life, knowing what you know now, and if you had to redo, is there anything you would have done differently?
In hindsight, of course, one or two projects where I failed, I would say that I would not have done it. But that's a very easy thing to say in hindsight.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time, and thank you for being our inaugural first senior segment section. Thank you.